What's up, guys, and welcome to Invariance Poker Podcast. Today I have Conrad and Eric, who work at Peaks, and we've just been hanging out here at Peaks, and we just decided to talk. And today we're just gonna talk about random topics about life and see where it goes from here. So this is Peaks Dallas. If you haven't been here before, this is our show, the social club. We've been hanging out. This is my second home away from home. And we just play. They have a nice bar, and we play poker here. And they also have a few cool amenities. So come out if you want to hang out with us and be on our podcast. But go ahead and talk about yourself, Conrad.
What's going on? Yeah, like Tommy said, I'm Conrad. Originally from Chicago, just moved to Dallas a few months ago. I've been playing poker for quite some time now, ever since we've been playing for snacks and chips as kids, up until now with some cash on the side that I have. But like I said, from Chicago, moved down here for a job out of college. I'm in the finance world, and I don't really have much to do, so that's why I picked up a job here at Peaks. And I love everyone here. I love the family. I love the vibes. That's pretty much it.
And I'm Eric. I started playing poker because of COVID in December of 2020, and I've been around it ever since. And I figured, why not get a job as a dealer? So when I'm not playing, I'm still around poker. The game of poker is just for me, it's way too influential in my life for not to not be around it.
Right. And you're a philosophy major, right?
Yeah, I just graduated in May from UTD with a philosophy degree.
And then Conrad is an independent musician.
Yeah, I forgot to say that. Yeah, I do make music. I've done pretty well with music. I've gotten my name out there a little bit, but I've taken a break. Everything's kind of on halt right now. Been really busy with life. I mean, life gets in the way of everything, as you guys know. So haven't really had too much time to do it, but looking to get back into it. Really,
yeah. So I'm gonna help Conrad do some marketing, and we'll see where we could go with his music. But yesterday he said something that really stuck, and that's what I want to talk about. What did you say, Conrad?
So a lot of my songs and a lot of music you hear nowadays, it's pretty sad, or there's a sad connotation behind it. And the main reason for this is something that one of my buddies told me that I've stuck by, and I've remembered since he told me a few years ago. But he told me that it's easier to be sad than it is to be happy. And really thinking about it, diving into what that means, it's when you're happy, of course, it's the best high in the world. It's better than anything. It's happiness is gold in real life. But when you're sad or something bad happens, you feel like your whole life's falling apart, the whole world's against you, everyone else is against you. So kind of when I heard that, what I thought about is, wow, I could have everything going so well in my life, and I could have all these wonderful people around me and all these blessings around me. And then one little bad thing happens, and so many people are so quick to just be like, you know what, damn, like my life sucks. Like I'm sad now because of this one little inconvenience and so everyone forgets about their blessings, and one bad day takes over 10 good ones.
Why do you think that, Eric?
Why is it easier to be sad? I actually agree with that. If you ever read Schopenhauer, he's a philosopher. He's known for the pessimistic of philosophy. So He believes in one of the ways to cure the world with philosophy is through love. And I think a lot of people that end up being sad is because they can have wealth, they can have fame, they can have women or men, whatever they can have, but they don't find an actual presence of love in their life. So that's why they're sad. You hear all the time, rich people end up committing suicide with all the money and all the fortune they can have. But it's because they can't find something to love. And it doesn't even have to be an entity, a person. It could just be a passion that they need to find in life that can show them love.
Right.
Like me, I'm single, but I love my life. I had one girlfriend, and she was my first love, I guess. But now that I'm with her, it's not like, oh, I'm not happy with my life. If anything, those trials and tribulations help me understand myself more and love my life even more. And every day I wake up, I'm grateful. Right. Even if, let's say I'm playing poker, I lose $1,000. Like, yeah, I lost $1,000, but I'm still alive. Yeah. And if I wake up tomorrow, another day to go to work, make money, or play poker again.
Right.
So
and at the end of the day, you got enough money to go get some food, you got a place to sleep, and
a lot of people
you got people around you that love you. So,
definitely.
Yeah, I totally agree with what you said.
So one of the things when I study spirituality is that because mental suffering, like when we're happy and we're drowning ourselves in pleasure, we're really not attentive and aware of what's going on in surrounding. We're just in la la land.
Right.
But when we're actually suffering, what suffering does is it awakens us and it brings us back into focus and brings us right back into now, and then we start seeing things. So our perception actually increases when we suffer. So in a way, suffering is good,
Right.
because it awakens us. And I think a lot of times, because when we are more awakened, then our memory is a lot better.
Right.
So that's why a lot of times we are more aware of things that are sad, and we're aware of things that are as happy. Just like poker players. Poker players always remember the
Yep.
bad beats,
Yep.
but they never remember the suckouts.
Exactly.
So
So it's like me asking you, when's the last time you were happy? What's the last time something happened and you were like, God, like I am so happy that this happened?
Yeah.
Do you remember?
No.
So when's the last time you were sad? Did something happen recently that made you sad, upset?
This whole month, this past, yeah, and I'm glad this month is ending, because has been a miserable month in terms of just things not going right. But
Right.
yeah, and you're right. And if I look back at this month, it's hard to remember all the good times, but if you want me to remember the bad times, I could bring it right on out of it.
Of
Yep.
course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it just leaves when something leaves a sour taste in your mouth, like you're gonna succumb to it for a few days. But when something good happens, you remember it for like a day.
Yeah.
But when you're like,
if even.
so like for example, death. I had a whole class on just death, philosophy of death, and just how everyone sees death. And when you really think about it, when you die, you really die alone. Like no one can feel your death for you. So like once you die, you can't even see how people are gonna react to your death. So where that rises is whether you believe in God or you don't. Other people see death differently. Some people believe in nirvana. Some believe in moksha and reincarnation. Some believe in God. They're gonna go to hell and heaven. But for some people in life, they're not worried about that so much as when they do die, they don't want to die with regrets.
Right.
And I think a lot of people, when they're sad, is because one, they did something that they really wanted to pursue or do, whether it's like a relationship, a job opportunity, or even poker. If someone brand new to poker has $1,000 and they lose it in like a day or two and they're new to poker, they're gonna be sad. They're gonna
Right.
be destroyed.
Not gonna want to play.
Yeah, they might not want to play anymore, but they're gonna remember that. Like, oh, I just lost $1,000. But if they just remember this is poker, there's always a chance to go
Right.
back. Instead of dwelling on the losing the 1,000, they can see it as opportunity. Like maybe poker wasn't for them. Two, maybe you gotta remember you're brand new. You gotta practice. Poker isn't something like poker doesn't owe you anything.
Right.
Like when I come in to play poker, I don't sit at the table thinking I'm gonna make money
Right.
because it doesn't owe me anything.
You never
What
know
I-
what's gonna happen. The cards
yeah, you
fall,
never know
the
what's gonna
cards
happen.
fall.
But when I do sit at a poker table, what I try to do is analyze the players, try to analyze who I want to be in the pots with, try to analyze my ranges versus their ranges. But when I first started playing poker, I would call a top pair and not really worry about flushes. Or I would call a top pair with a really bad kicker. Or limping. Limping is one of the biggest things that like make people lose money in poker, especially when you're brand new. Because when people limp, you can't put them on a hand.
Right. You're not defending.
Yeah, so when I
You're
have the
not
top pair and
defending.
an ace with like a deuce in the board, someone flops a set or they have two pair, I will lose money really, really, really fast.
Right.
And like I said, I started playing poker because of COVID. More than likely, 90% of the people already played poker, so they were easily taking advantage of me. So I'd be sad. I would think people are targeting me. But then I realized poker is a game of, obviously there's a lot of luck. There's a lot of variance. But there's also
lot of luck,
skill.
little bit
There's
of
also
skill.
a lot of skill that goes into
Yeah.
it.
Mhm.
And
Of course.
I was lucky enough to have some people at the table actually point out some of the things that I did that would give tells. So then at that point, I realized, okay, maybe I shouldn't be so sad about it because when you make mistakes, it's how you learn.
Yeah.
And that's one of the biggest things in life. If you're talking about spirituality, you really need to learn from your mistakes
Yeah.
because you don't really learn anything from being good at something. But once
Right.
I don't know if y'all watch UFC. Like Usman just recently lost. He was
Yeah.
undefeated, 16-0 UFC. He was pound for pound #1 UFC ranked, and he just recently lost to a head kick. And he was gloating that that he wasn't gonna lose. It was the last round. It was literally the last minute of the final round.
And he was winning the other
Yep.
rounds. He was ahead.
Yep.
And
And
he
then look
leaned
what
right
happened.
into that kick. Yeah. But I mean, I saw that, and I even saw the Twitter comments from who's his opponent.
Leon Edwards.
Yeah, so I mean they were going back and forth, but it was nothing negative. Like it was all respect between them after that
Yep.
point. Usman was like, stuff like this happens, and it's not about how he dwells in it. It's about how he's going to grow from it and inevitably learn from it. So something like that doesn't happen again.
So what does your education tell you about pleasure in terms of why
pleasure?
why don't we remember pleasure as much as we remember suffering, outside of what I said? Like, is there a way for us to try to remember pleasure more?
I think the reason, or for at least in what I would think, you're asking me why people remember the suffering more than the pleasures.
Yeah,
it's because, like I said, suffering leaves a sour taste in your mouth. When you're happy, everything's going good, you're just in that moment. But when you're actually suffering, you dwell on it for a long time. Like, for example, you are a parent. I'm not a parent. So let's say, your kid were to pass away. I can be sad for you. Someone can be sad for you, but no one's going to feel the pain you are like a week after. Like a week after, people are grieving with you. They'll go to the funeral and stuff like that. But after that, you're the one left for suffering. You're the one that has to remember every single day, hey, my child is no longer alive. Like me, my mom passed away a year ago. Like 2 days ago, it was like a year that she passed away. And it was hard. It's hard to adjust to the death of someone, obviously.
of course.
But for the first month, I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to go to school. I wasn't doing my papers. But then after a month of suffering, I realized instead of leaving myself in this bubble where I'm going to be sad and not accomplish anything, I got to remember the good things my mom left for me. She raised me. A lot of my morals and ethics came from my mom because of the kind of person she was. And then I would just also think, and I almost dropped out, and it was my last semester. But then I realized my mom wouldn't want me to drop out. And then I just remembered the main reason for me even going to school was for her. And even though she passed away, I can't just stop there. Yeah. It's better to continue, go forward, finish it, and it's just like know that she would be happy even if she was alive. Now, obviously, she's not here, but she would be happy that I finished school, and she'd always be happy that I don't do certain things that, she didn't want me to do and stuff like that. And luckily, I didn't succumb to those things, because if this was like 4 or 5 years ago and that had happened to me, I would have succumbed to all the things in my past that I used to do.
Yeah. Sure.
So one of the things that you said that the keynote was the word realize, because a lot of things that people don't see is that knowledge is one thing. To know, like for us to sit here and talk and people kind of know what we're talking about, mm-hmm. but until they go through that experience, that realization doesn't come, and that realization is how we actually connect with this knowledge. Mm-hmm. So a lot of things that we want to learn, it's hard for us to have context until we actually have direct experience, and only through direct experience can we connect with these knowledge and actually realize. So that word realization is very important in terms of having insight into a lot of things. And I think suffering is one of the things that connects us to gives us that deep experience that where we actually start to realize some of the things that we hear about, but we never really realize.
Yeah, it opens your eyes.
Yeah, it does.
Like poker. I mean, poker is one of those big things that opens your eyes, whether you get coolered or you sucked out. Right. You're just like, oh shit, that was my one time.
There's always a chance unless you're drawing dead, right?
And what about you, Tom? When did you realize poker was like it for you? Because I have a friend who tried it for like a month, and he just quit. He's like, it's just not for me. Yeah. But for people like, I would say, me and you, Conrad, I don't know so much yet. But for me, I know I want to continue doing poker.
I'm always coming back.
Well, poker actually was able to give me an idea of what insight really means. Mm-hmm. Because before I started playing poker, I had the idea of perception and mm-hmm. observation and suffering, but you don't really think about it until you're sitting there, and then and then of course it hits you, right? You lose a big pot and you're sitting there miserable.
Yep.
And so you start suffering, but being at the poker table gives you time to kind of watch over yourself and look over yourself, and that's what allowed me to slowly observe myself. And this observation is actually what slowly gave me the insight into all these knowledge that you read all the time mm-hmm. about from I guess Buddhism to Christianity. You hear about suffering,
like scholars.
Yeah,
notable figures of history, philosophy.
Right. and these information really has no context until I actually started to connect it with the actual emotions that came up when I played poker. Of course, is not. I don't know if that's the right way to use a game to describe suffering, but that's why it's a microcosm. Poker is really a microcosm of life because it helps you get a taste of what's out there in the real world, but you don't have to go and have experienced the death of a family in order to suffer. You could just lose a pot.
Right. And I'm glad you said that you learn about yourself in poker, because I wanted to actually bring that up, because playing poker, I've learned a lot about the people that I may play with often, or whoever I'm at the table with. You learn about other people at the table, but after years, months, however long of playing poker, you learn about yourself a lot too. You learn about your impulses, you learn about your emotions, when certain things start to go downhill, how you can control yourself a little better, what you do wrong, and you can kind of go back and analyze that. After a bad beat, or after just a dumb hand where you shouldn't have been in the first place, you can go back, think about it, and be like, I don't want to let that happen again, so I'm not going to. So poker, I mean, for me, one of the reasons that I love the game so much is because it taught me so much about myself that subconsciously I had going on, but it wasn't evident to me. And from that, it just taught me, this is when you start letting your emotions get control of you, the best of you. And, as long as you got chips in front of you, and this is my philosophy, as long as I got chips in front of me, there's always a chance that I can come back. And so it's kind of like, when you were talking about when your mom passed, you could have easily quit. You could have easily gave up. And so many people are so quick to give up and quit when something bad happens.
When the going gets tough.
Yeah, when the going gets tough, they just stop. And my philosophy has always been, if I can't do it for myself, do it for someone else who's there, who loves me. If I can't do it for myself, do it for my dad, because it'll make him happy, it'll make him proud, and that him getting that satisfaction, or someone that I love getting satisfaction of me accomplishing something, at the end of the day will give me more satisfaction than it would for me doing it for myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
And there's also one thing, like you said, like when you lose and you only have a few chips left, like you said, if you have some chips, you have hope.
Right.
And I think a lot. So you could actually see how people perceive things when things go down, right? Like a person who is about to lose all their chips, like the kid last night. He only had like maybe $20-$30 left, and of course that's still money, but they don't see it anymore. They don't see that hope in it anymore. They just see, it's over. I'm just gonna put it all in, and
because they saw what it used to be.
They go all in with like Jack Deuce.
Yeah, just like, all right, just put me out of my misery.
Yeah.
And I tell them, like, there's value in that money, and there's hope that you could turn that money around, like a chip in a chair. So you could see your mentality in terms of how you approach when things are down. Do you just feel despair and just ship the rest of it in and just call it quits, or do you recollect yourself and see that there's hope in this, and then you use that whatever you have left and turn it around, and you could dig yourself out of the hope from that whatever's left. And I think that's the mentality that a lot of poker players don't have.
They're missing.
Yeah.
I think poker, one of the biggest things I think it teaches, like my friend that I started bringing here, he started playing poker. I told him self-control. You're gonna learn a lot of self-control in poker. You're gonna learn the more you lose.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, I've done this before, and like before poker, I was playing a trading card game. So it's not the same as poker, but you're still using cards, or you're still playing cards, and you're still trying to get reads on your opponents. I realized that I would blame my losses always on my opponent. Oh, he got lucky. Oh, I just drew a really bad hand.
Right.
But then I started to realize I'm putting so much blame on them and not realizing that my game isn't where it should be either. I would practice, but maybe he just practiced more than me, so he has an upper hand on me. It's the same thing with poker. I see a suited ace, deuce, back when I was first starting, someone would make it 30 and the blinds are 1 and 2. I try to get lucky, maybe flop a flush draw. I just lost $30 for nothing, because if I completely whiff, I can bluff, but since they're raising to 30, they probably have a hand they're gonna come in with anyway.
Yeah.
So then I had to learn self-control. And then, like you said, some people, let's say I start with 300 and I just got cooler. Like yesterday I got cooler. I won the pot, I was up 300. The next hand I get dealt kings. Seed 8 next to you has aces. Mm-hmm. We're playing 1-2, I make it 12, he makes it 25. And to me that's already kind of odd, but I wanted to see where he's at, so I made it 100. He goes all in, and I have him covered. So I'm like, okay, I call. He had like 260 or 250. In my head, I didn't even see he had that much. I thought he had only 200. We call, learn it twice. Obviously, I lose with pocket kings. Nothing really would have changed because if I see the flop, if it's going all in, it was like 9-6-7.
Yeah.
And I had a king of clubs, so like he didn't have a club. So the outcome didn't change. I always say good hand no matter if I lose or win. Could the outcome have been different? No, I don't think so because, like I said, with that flop, I'm pretty sure the money goes in anyway.
Yeah.
But let's say this was back in the day. Let's say I had suited ace-10. I make it. He makes it. He re-raises me 25. I probably still would have done 100 because I have no self-control. And he jams. I'm probably gonna call just because I have no self-control. I'm gambling at that point.
You feel like you're committed at that point.
Yeah, and you're really not.
Yeah, I stopped playing poker when I was but like a couple months before I moved here. I was in Chicago. I had a really, really bad beat. Everything was going my way that day. I mean, flushes, straights, trips, boats, whatever you can.
You're running hot.
I was steaming, like I was smoking hot. I get dealt pocket queens. The guy 2 seats down. I'm the button. I have the position. He has aces.
Mm-hmm.
So queens against aces, and I mean, no one. You're not going to get anyone off of queens. I mean, you could sometimes, but
not at 1-2.
Yeah, exactly.
At 1-2,
So it was. I raised to there was some limpers. Someone raised to 15 or 20. Got to me. I raised to 75. He called, so he was slow rolling. He didn't shove. He didn't raise nothing. Flop comes out queen ace. I flop quads. He flops a full house. Obviously, he bets. I shove. What's the next card?
He snap gems you, right? Obviously, with a full house.
I had quads. He had a full house.
No, he's gonna snap call you with pocket aces.
No, so he went all in. I called, obviously. Turn comes out ace.
So he has quads.
Quads against quads. Both of us had quads.
No bad beat either, huh?
Yeah, and no bad beats. This is it was like a charity place, so there's no bad beats, no bonuses or anything there, and it was just I was so mad because I lost like $600. He had me covered, and I was just.
He had you covered. You were running that hot. You only had $600, but you were running hot.
Well, I bought in for like $100.
Oh, that is running hot. Six
and
times
like the max for that place is like $200-300. Like the people that go there are like kind of nits. They don't.
That's a funny word in poker to me.
They don't play unless they like have the nuts type of thing.
Yeah,
a great hand pre-flop. And so I mean, I was up 500%. It's whatever. To me that's a lot of money. Now that I have like a full-time job, it's not that big of a deal. But back then I was still in college, and I was just like, God damn, like that sucks. Yeah. That really sucks.
It was a bad beat, not the bad beat.
It was a bad beat. But now I'm back, and I'm in Texas. It's kind of hard. If you're a poker player, it's hard not to get back into playing poker because everything that's around you. I looked at Poker Atlas, and this place was like less than 2 miles away from me. So obviously I came here and I played, and first time here I lost like $700. And then I came back, and now I work here. So,
dude, speaking of Peaks is like the closest one to DFW Airport.
Yeah,
it's like the closest social club you can get. I think maybe no, Rigoro is before this. I think right. Rigoro is before or after.
Actually, Peaks is closest to Love Field. But DFW, I think TCH is the closest.
Are you sure? Because I live literally right next to DFW. I live on like by Esther's in Irving.
Isn't DFW the opposite direction?
Yeah, it's 183 this way. Going 183 going to DFW.
Maybe it's closer just because it's like
no, it is.
Right off
it
the
is.
Highway.
Tommy, I'll tell you why. Because if you come from Irving, the airport, you have to exit Loop 12, and then exit not 635.
35.
It's a street right underneath 35. I forgot what it's called. Before Harry Hines, I forgot the name of the street. Here, as soon as you pass that, you just exit Whitecliff, and you're here. It might be similar, actually.
It might Oaklawn? Before Harry Hines?
No, this is Whitecliff. We're on Whitecliff. Well, technically, it's Sylvan if you go this way, but when you enter here, it's Whitecliff.
That's what you're saying. Yeah.
I actually think this is closer, but like Tommy mentioned earlier, we have a bar. We have a liquor license.
Yeah, we do.
That's the.
And we have more than just poker here. Like we have giant TVs, projectors. We have not board games. We have like Jenga. We have ping pong. We have shuffleboard or whatever it's called.
And football season about to start.
Yeah, exactly. So
how many TVs?
I'm gonna be here.
We have like 12, 15 TVs.
Just in the poker room, there's like 15.
And then the bar section has the biggest TV. If you sit at the couches and you're playing Jenga, it has the biggest TV.
Yep.
So you don't have to be playing poker to experience like the best TV here.
Yeah.
And another thing is the prices here you just can't beat when it comes to the alcohol. You just can't beat them.
Yeah, I wish I drank. Otherwise,
I don't even drink.
so
I don't
yeah.
drink. I don't drink.
I don't
but-
drink, so I can't take advantage of it. But if you do drink, you
I
should.
definitely take advantage.
Like I don't drink, right? Me and you don't drink, but I see the value. Like you get
Yeah.
the biggest bang for your buck here when it comes to
And
drinking.
what, $15 for a monthly membership, and then
Yeah.
you pay an hourly fee. But the drinks, like for example, my drink of choice is like a Jack and Coke, and it's $4.
Yep.
Yeah.
You go to a bar and you're
and-
paying $9 for that, I think.
And inflation hasn't hit peaks yet.
Yeah,
It
not
hasn't.
yet, not yet.
It has, and starting tomorrow, month of September. I said May. Start. We're gonna have the beer
Beer
bucket.
Buckets for $9. Right?
Five beers, bottle beers, whatever you're choosing. We have Yingling, we have Dos Equis, we have Michelob, we have Coors, we have Corona. Well, it has to be bottle, not the can one. I don't know if we have. Oh yeah, I think we have Corona too.
Corona,
5
yeah.
of them for $9.
And of course, we have the podcast here, so you could, if you want to talk about anything and maybe life,
by and say hi.
poker.
If you want to get drunk first and get on, by all means.
Yeah, we'll come here
Yeah,
and
Some
entertain
people are
you.
more
Absolutely.
comfortable when
Alright.
they're,
Absolutely.
So let's close it off with Conrad. Give us the lyrics and just send us off with a good lyric.
A lyric?
Yeah, sing into the mic. Go ahead.
Or
well,
rap.
You can't put me on the spot.
Yeah, you
like
get
that.
rap. You don't have
You
to
can
sing.
rap.
Like, what do you mean, like
Whatever.
a lyric? Like,
Just sing. Just sing whatever's on your mind right now. Go for it.
Hey, you put you on the spot.
Yeah, I'll put you on the spot.
Gosh darn, you're putting me on the spot.
You did a great job a moment ago.
How about this?
Well,
Just
that
do it-
wasn't. That was. I had that pre-written.
How about
Alright,
this?
so-
Say it in
alright.
Polish. That way they don't understand what they're saying. Just say
Well,
it in
just sing
Sing
whatever.
in Polish?
or just say anything in Polish, and they don't.
Or just sing what you sang a moment ago. It was good.
What was I even singing? I don't really remember.
I forgot.
You're putting me on the spot.
Yeah.
Man. Wait,
Singing
no.
your own
It was like.
Right, go ahead.
It was. Is it money? Is it love? I ran through it. Fuck it all. At a job on the clock. All I wanna do is ball. Is it fame? It's just a little.
That was
something like
clean. That was
that.